1%. We're live.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It might make it through.
Help me make it through the video.
Those things drop power pretty quickly.
Yeah, especially once you fire them up and they start running the start running the wiring, but the screen. So it is Thursday.
It is.
November the 18th, 19th.
19th.
I wrote it down.
Hey, we're 1 month away from.
1 month away from your anniversary.
Your anniversary too, oddly enough.
Really?
Yeah.
Same day.
Yeah. Interesting, huh?
Crazy how that happens.
I know.
So, and this year it's actually on a Saturday, which
It
is
is,
the
which is
day of the
nice.
week we actually got married on. So
Yes.
it's kind of nice that it actually lines up there. So
We'll actually get to celebrate on our anniversary,
yes.
which doesn't always happen.
No, it doesn't. Because when it lands on that Sunday, that's the Sunday before Christmas, and there's just all kinds.
That
of
just
chaos going on.
doesn't happen, and frequently, sometimes we can kind of squeak out on a weekday, and sometimes we just can't.
Mm-hmm.
So
let's go to our liturgy. From Every Moment Holy. Great Christmas gift. Get the stocking stuffer for the people you love. Get the pocket size.
I was about to say there is a pocket size.
A pocket size that
nicely.
actually would fit.
They fit very nicely in a stocking.
Go to the Rabbit Room and just buy stuff.
It's a cool place.
Supports artists and artistic expression and.
A friend of mine from college actually recently published a book through, and I believe it's through Rabbit Room. I need to double check. Yes.
What's her name?
Jana. Well, she was Jana Young. Now she's Jana Barber. So I saw that on Facebook, and I need to check it out.
Do need to check that out.
So anyway, yeah.
But
I know she's connected with Rabbit Room, so I don't know.
Interesting.
But I think that's.
I never realized that. I thought you didn't have any friends. Like I didn't have any friends. See, I forget sometimes that you had friends in college.
You had friends in college as well.
I did.
Yeah.
I thought I only had you.
No, you had other friends. The kids met one of them the other night.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
The fits. It's a whole nother discussion. So, yeah, we do need to check on that. Mm-hmm. So, several OBUE people getting books out there in the world.
Yeah.
So, including yesterday's book that I put downstairs. So, can't hold it up again. But, of course, we also have this book from a couple of weeks ago from Dr. Hayes.
Yes.
A Christian's Guide to Evidence for the Bible. Excellent book. So, well worth your Amazon gift card money. Buy 5. Dr. Hayes got to retire one of these days. So.
He'd prefer sooner. The rest of us would prefer later, but that's just the way it goes.
So. Yep. I don't know. Maybe if his book sold 1 million copies, that would persuade him to stay.
Are you kidding?
In academia, since he would be, the well acclaimed.
He'd retire. He'd write and play with grandkids.
I'm not entirely convinced he'd write out of those options.
That's true.
He'd probably he'd travel and play with grandkids and be like, "You ain't got to do anything. My book sold 1 million copies. They pay me money to show up and talk about it now. I used to have to show up and give away 5 copies just to get the chance to speak." Meet me, O Christ, in this stillness of morning. Move me, O Spirit, to quiet my heart. Mend me, O Father, from yesterday's harms. From the discords of yesterday, resurrect my peace. From the discouragements of yesterday, resurrect my hope. From the weariness of yesterday, resurrect my strength. From the doubts of yesterday, resurrect my faith. From the wounds of yesterday, resurrect my love. Let me enter this new day aware of my need and awake to your grace, O Lord. Amen.
Amen.
So we shall take the book and jam it around here behind me. And so, a week from today is Thanksgiving.
It is.
And it will be probably a stranger Thanksgiving for many people than they have experienced because of COVID-related needs, wrestling with that balance point between do we, how much, what do we do in terms of getting together?
Mm-hmm.
Because we'd hate to blow off this year and have somebody pass away and have missed that would have been our last Thanksgiving. But we'd also hate to get together and precipitate the medical crisis that does
Yes.
make it. Because, and, you know, and as Christian people, we kind of have to wrestle with a two-folded reality here, because there's some things about life that we don't understand. I firmly believe that if the Lord God kept it written down in a book, and I don't think he does because he doesn't have to, you could flip open that book and see, for example, Doug Hibbard will die this day, this cause, that it would be, to use the Doctor Who terminology, that's a fixed point
Mm-hmm.
that is not alterable.
Mm-hmm.
However, I also do not believe that I believe God created people with a will that is capable of doing things. We tend to use it to do wrong things, but we do have a free will, and that our actions do have consequences, such that, if you do risky things and therefore you suffer a negative consequence, whether it's, a permanent injury or illness relationship, or, death, that it is not, well, you were going to die anyway.
Mm-hmm.
It is, you did this, therefore you died. So I don't think we could drop back and say, well, if somebody dies of COVID between this Thanksgiving and next Thanksgiving, between this Christmas and next Christmas, that was just what they were going to do anyway. I don't think we could say that. I think we do have that as a consequence. I think that our actions do matter. And so, on the one hand, you want to live every moment. On the other hand, you also have a responsibility for your fellow human beings.
Mm-hmm.
And when we're talking Thanksgiving and Christmas, we should be talking about the people that we love the most.
Mm-hmm.
Should. You know who you are. But so I think that, as we come into this, there's going to be a challenge, and there's a challenge for our churches,
Mm-hmm.
our spiritual small groups, which is what we talk about on Thursdays,
Mm-hmm.
as well, because we have our traditions that we have liked to do, and especially this time of year, the church, especially the Baptist flavor of the church, likes to get together and eat.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if we were Presbyterian,
We'd get together and drink.
we'd get together and drink. If we were Lutheran, we'd get together and drink a lot. But we're Baptist, so we don't drink. We don't drink and we don't dance. That was somebody was sharing that, I don't remember who it was on social media, but one of the governments has said, hey, as you do, there should be no dancing. And then there were other things. And this was a Baptist person, and they were fussing about the constriction on liberty. It's like, is a Baptist complaining that people are being told not to dance? Seriously? First of all, most Baptists can't dance. And second, anyway. Anyway. But, we tend to get together and eat, because we don't drink, we don't dance, we don't do anything else. So that's why we're all fat. But, there's it's just the truth. There's a separate height weight chart for Baptist than there is for, like, Methodist. But we have to modify that. And we get a choice here. And again, this is where we have consequences in our decisions. We get a choice to choose to be grateful for how we can find ways to celebrate and be creative. Choose to be grateful for that, or we can choose to be resentful of it. Mm-hmm. And the consequences are, we will either enjoy, and it'll be memorable, and it may be a memory that come next year we go, I don't ever want to do that again. By the way, if anybody ever wants to do a pandemic again, Rivendell is taking you. Rivendell, Happy Dale, all sorts of behavioral health hospitals are available to you. Nobody should want to do this. The only people enjoying this are the politicians who would like to use it as an excuse to run your life, or as a way to make you scared so that you vote for them so that they can run your life. nobody likes this. Okay? Or nobody should. No reasonable, sane person who loves humanity wants this. But, we should, it's fine to be able to say, hey, what we're, in all honesty, Christmas, Thanksgiving, Christmas 2021, we'll look back at 2020 and go, I'm so glad we're not doing that again.
Mm-hmm.
But while we do it, we can find ways to take joy in what we can do and still celebrate and still enjoy, not just embitter all that much more.
Mm-hmm.
Any thoughts? I'm monologuing. I'm sorry.
No.
Yeah.
Got it covered.
We're 8.5 months in. We're going to go to 9 months. Come January, we're going to get hit with a whole passel of new things. And I know you're tired of it. I'm tired of it. She's tired of it. You tired of it? He's tired of it in there. The introverts are tired of it. There are hermits who are tired of not seeing people. Okay? There are hermits that are just tired of social distancing.
It's their 10-year reunion point.
You get together every 10 years and talk about caves, and they're not allowed to. They had to miss that. Yeah. I mean, LSU appreciated the excuse to not get trampled by Bama last weekend, but it's just everybody's tired of it. It's an infectious disease. It's a hopefully once in a lifetime infectious disease pandemic. Do we hate it? Yes, we do. It's not going to respond to hate. The only thing that hate does is becomes an acid that burns us.
I've heard people talk about, well, I'm not going to get a pretty mask because that means that the pandemic's winning, and I'm like, I just want something to smile about, and I don't want to give in to the idea of having to wear this mask for forever. Well, we're 8 months in, and pretty mask gives me something to smile about because I have to wear it. So
gotta wear it.
Why not have something fun?
I know this study says it's this, and that study says it's that. It helps. Because if you'd like a microcosm, you can look at, there are colleges and universities that went full in person, still had social activities, still had Greek life, also had fraternities and sororities.
And also had a full slate of students on campus. They didn't...
Yeah, had everybody back on campus.
Everybody, and numbers even a little up in some situations, and yeah.
Just remember, there's a difference in Greek life and fraternities and sororities.
There is.
Greek life happens in the Bible building. With the hoi, not out there with the hoi polloi. But yeah, had all of those things. Had the fraternities and sororities. Had social activities. Had this. Had that. Had kids going off campus on the weekends and goofing off. There are colleges and universities that did that maintained a low rate of spread and transmission through following protocols. And then there are colleges and universities that didn't strictly enforce it, that broke down in 3 months.
Some of them in 3 weeks.
Some of them in 3 weeks. Yeah. In all honesty, we brought up, LSU, you've got college football programs at major universities that in the last 10 years have made sure that their college athletes, their football players, have a separate dorm from the rest of the university. They have separate dining facilities. They have an entirely separate life. And yet still, they couldn't keep COVID out of that because they didn't follow basic procedures. You want to figure out why LSU, Ole Miss, whoever else had to cancel football games? It's because they had players who went out and broke the rules. They're not going to admit that because there's too much money involved. But that's what happened. So, it would help. I know 2 weeks to stop the spread. Maybe it's a month to stop the spread. In all honesty, at this point, it's put on a dadgum mask to help stop the spread. So help each other out. But as we do it, let's go ahead and find ways to find joy in it. I mean, to say, well, I'm not going to wear something cheerful with this. Be like, well, it's cold, but I don't want to admit that it's always going to be cold. So instead of wearing a bright and cheerful colored jacket, I'm going to wear something drab and ugly. And I remember the Cold War and the pictures and the image that we always got of, the communists in Russia, and it was everything was drab and there was no joy, and it was, this is just life. We just don't like it and we're grumpy all the time. Maybe wearing a mask is just life. We don't have to be grumpy all the time about it. But anyway, to get back to the thankfulness, find those points of joy. Come to East End Baptist Church Sunday night, 5 o'clock. Eat ham and turkey with us. Trust me, we got enough ham and turkey to feed you.
And we will.
I know how many
protocols.
viewers we have. I guarantee you, we got enough ham and turkey.
We will follow protocols and keep people distanced, and
We'll have laid out for distancing. We'll serve. We'll have people that'll be serving food and all that kind of thing. Come join us. 6 feet across the table to talk to somebody is far better than not actually doing anything. So look for those ways to celebrate and be joyful. Figure out what's safe, what's not safe. Figure out what is and isn't a good idea. Do the best you can with it, and it'll be all right. And next year, we'll be able to look back and say, I don't ever want to do that again. But right now, while we have to do it, maybe we shouldn't just sit around and grump about what we have to do. Let's just say, hey, at least they don't have the army out on the streets telling us we can't leave our house. That's the death of freedom. That's causes you to go, eee. Okay, so find things to be thankful for. Show up for church Sunday. Be thankful while you're there. Okay? Or log into church and be thankful. Post things in the comments that you're thankful for. All right? All right.
16.
Psalm 16.
A miktam of David.
A Mickey Mouse of David?
Protect me, God, for I take refuge in you. I said to the Lord, you are my Lord. I have nothing good besides you. As for the holy people who are in the land, they are the noble ones. All my delight is in them. The sorrow of those who take another god for themselves will multiply. I will not pour out their drink offerings of blood, and I will not speak their names with my lips. Lord, you are my portion and my cup of blessing. You hold my future. The boundary lines have fallen for me in pleasant places. Indeed, I have a beautiful inheritance. I will bless the Lord who counsels me, even at night when my thoughts trouble me. I always let the Lord guide me, because he is at my right hand. I will not be shaken. Therefore my heart is glad and my whole body rejoices. My body also rests securely, for you will not abandon me to Sheol. You will not allow your faithful one to see decay. You reveal the path of life to me. In your presence is abundant joy. At your right hand are eternal pleasures. Lord, thank you for your pleasures. Thank you that we can find joy and have much to be thankful for when we think of you and who you are and how you love and interact with us. Father, I pray that as we go into today, we will see many, many ways to be grateful and many things to be grateful for. In your holy name I pray. Amen.
Amen.